Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. This is the second video I am releasing for Friday, January 21st. So if you're seeing this one first, you might want to take a look for the one that was released a couple of hours earlier. That was called Denied. Okay. I don't very often end up putting out a total of 4 videos over, two specific dates. But I do encourage you, if you have not clicked the bell by the subscribe button, to do that, because as things get a little crazy, I may very well need to continue just hopping on and checking stuff out. So welcome. I also want to extend a thank you and a very warm welcome to the new subscribers. That is just lovely to see. So thank you so very much. Quickly, I have currently I am booking like around the third week of February for private readings. If you're interested, in the description box below. Also, it's Friday, so don't forget, tomorrow on Saturday morning, the weekly Pick Your Crystal readings will be released. Okay, so why am I back here? Well, because it has been announced that Georgia is convening a grand jury to look at election interference by that former guy. Amazing. This is very good news. So I want to take a look at that. And also, it seems like Ivanka there was a public letter apparently that went out to Ivanka from the committee asking her to please come in. They want to have a bit of a chat about some of the events of January 6th. So it'll be interesting to see if she agrees to have that little chit chat or does what most of the Trumps do and just say, yeah, no, I'm not coming and I'm going to ignore it. So there's that. And it feels as if there's some more text messages that are coming out from other people around the January 6th situation. So that's going to be interesting. So honestly, it feels like an avalanche of news, an avalanche of new information. And so I just wanted to take a quick look we're going to start with Georgia. Because I think that is really, really significant because it is, if I'm not mistaken, now, I could be mistaken. For sure, it's a state crime because it is, it took place within the state. I'm not sure if that ultimately can become a federal crime, but either way, it's a criminal act. So, that's not the same as sort of, well, you didn't add up your numbers wrong and you overestimated your apartment in the Trump Tower. I don't know if you caught this, guys. The thing was appraised at between 35. Oh no, hold on. I'm mixing up two things. Okay, the Trump Tower, he tripled the square footage. So it was like 10,000 square feet. And he listed it as 30,000 square feet. Had some property somewhere in New York that was estimated to be between 35 and 50 million. And come on, people, that's not chump change. Which one of us would say, no, it's okay. Don't give me $35 million. Anyways, by the time he was done with it, and apparently it was Eric who just made up these numbers, it was listed as being valued at $291 million from a maximum of 50 million. Go figure. Talk about math problems. But this is criminal, okay, what's going on in Georgia with the election interference. So let's take a look at that, shall we? Let's take a look at this avalanche of information, convening the grand jury in Georgia. It feels like a really long time coming, but it's here. Come on down. I have a question. All right, here we go. One more quick shuffle for convening the grand jury in Georgia regarding Trump election interference. Sorry about that. Let's try to get this done before the phone rings or some appliance. By the way, the appliance is fine, not to worry. Um, if you watched my last video, you'll know what I'm referring to. Okay, so Georgia, grand jury, Trump. Georgia, grand jury, Trump. Georgia, grand jury, Trump. Do tell, do tell. Okay. All right. So, Queen of Swords is sitting here. This represents the um, the legal community, the law, the government. I'm not mistaken. I think that I don't know. I'm not sure if the um, person with the who's doing the investigation on Trump is male or female. It doesn't matter. The Queen of Swords is representing the law. Okay. The Six of Swords here is really interesting because it looks very much like I'm reading it as if they have finally managed to weed through the muck. They now have a clear, concise picture of what went on. Now listen, there was the recorded phone call that got released saying, I just need you to find 11,780 votes, please. But it's broader than that for some reason. I just getting a bigger feeling, and this is a very full-bodied picture, if you will. So what they're doing, and they did it very meticulously and very carefully because it is their intention to bring this kind of corrupt, belligerent behavior to an end when it comes to um, interfering with a election, for goodness sakes. He's not going to like the news he gets, and it's going to be a lot of news, okay? Um, he's going to go on another rant. He's going to yell and scream. Remember, it was a little bit before Christmas. Well, I talked about this a couple videos ago that he sent out that, from the desk of the 45th president thing that made no sense. And he was yelling and screaming how everybody just wants to, be mean to him and put him in jail and charge him with stuff. And that was because his lawyers had gone to talk to the Attorney General of Georgia. And I guess the meeting did not end with them saying, oh, no, Trump just, was chatting and he didn't really mean it. And of course, there's no interference. Nope, that's not what happened. What happened is they convened a grand jury. So there's a lot of information that we, the public, just don't know. We're not privy to, but it feels like we're going to find out. So that is going to be really, really interesting. A lot of the things that were done around the election, okay, a lot of the dirty tricks, a lot of the misdirection, all of it, a lot of it is going to come out. And part of the reason is it feels as if Georgia was such a significant state for the Republicans to lose. It was such a big state for Trump to lose. And thank you, each and every one of you, people of Georgia, who helped make that happen. The country applauds you. So, a lot of the kind of trickery, if you will, is actually going to come out. It is going to um, sooner or later, we're going to hear the details of it. And it's not going to go particularly well for him. And he's going to do what he always does. He's going to try to bluster. And God knows, maybe he just thinks he can pay off the AG because, that's his solution to a lot of his problems. It's just like, well, let's just throw some money at it because he just doesn't understand the law. And this is the thing. This is what we got to just take a minute and realize is that a lot of what Trump did that we look at and just shake our heads and go, how can he not know that that's not how it works. It's because he doesn't. He wasn't ever curious enough to actually figure out how the government worked. And so there were a lot of things that he just simply thought could just bend to his will because that's what he wanted to happen. And he really didn't understand that that isn't how election protocol works, it isn't how election laws work. Even this whole thing about, Pence somehow denying the electorate count. I'm probably saying that wrong. You know what I mean? It was like in his head, he didn't realize that that was just simply not a thing because he had people who were saying, of course it's a thing, sure it's a thing. And he never bothered to investigate. What we're going to find with Trump as all of this unfolds is it's like the whole Giuliani thing, right? Well, why were you saying that that voting machine, was corrupted? Well, because I read it somewhere. Well, did you investigate? Well, no, I didn't have time. That's exactly that same energy and mentality. And so, that's one of the things that we got to remember is that he really doesn't have basic knowledge and could care less. And so then it doesn't matter what somebody told him, he just simply believed it. Unless they were telling him something he didn't want to hear, and it was in opposition to something somebody else had told him that he did want to hear. Okay, even if it wasn't true, he, of course, wants to hear the things that most reflect his desires and belief structures. So the grand jury, okay, they're presenting a really strong case, okay? They have a lot more information than we can even imagine. And it is, frankly, it is the wish of many people that, he be sort of taken to justice, he be charged with something, and that justice prevails because the example he has set and got away with is frankly terrifying, right? Because, if you get away with it once, you're going to keep on trying to get away with it. And even though, Biden ultimately ended up assuming the office of the president, as was his legal right, the fact that the whole big lie, the whole mishmash of information was as successful as it was, that sets it up to be repeated again. And that is what is trying to be stopped, okay? Oh Lord, he's not going to like defending himself, and the reality is he can't usually string two coherent thoughts together. And so even if they get him on the stand, it's going to be a lot of I don't know, I don't remember, or if he starts rambling, as he's known to do, it's going to be a repetition of the nonsense that he spews. And of course, he's going to get stopped in the courtroom because that's not what works in a court of law. Okay. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you heard, but apparently, now I'm not sure who it was. I think it's somebody out of New York, is insisting that Giuliani provide the proof of the sort of election being stolen lie that he had. Where is the proof of what you were saying? And while you're at it, why don't you just exactly tell us how much money you made spouting this big law and who paid you? So he's in a heap of trouble. Yeah, you know what? I don't see this as a particularly close call. They're going to be very careful that they give the information. Ultimately, as we know, it is the grand jury's choice to say, yes, you have enough to charge, or no, you don't. But certainly at this point, it looks like things are going to be falling in favor of the state of Georgia in terms of these charges and in terms of getting getting a charge out there and then ultimately following it through with legal action. He's not going to be able to handle this. He's not going to be able to handle the burden or the stress because he has always snapped his fingers and told somebody to make it go away. And there is now nobody he can snap his fingers at and tell them to make it go away, because this isn't little civil stuff. This is criminal. And he is going to have a much harder time trying to defend his actions or explain away his behavior. More and more people, you're going to see more and more people starting to pull away from him. And by people, I'm talking about, not that rabid group of MAGA people with the red hats. I'm talking about people of influence are going to start going really quiet. They're going to start pulling away. The partnerships, some of the partnerships that he had to this day continues to count on, you're going to see the deterioration of some of those. And so more and more, he becomes isolated. And what's really interesting is, as far as the grand jury, they're actually being presented a very balanced case. Now, it is the grand jury's version of things, of course, but it's not like, while they are doing, while they want to eventually bring this to an end for him, they want him stopped, but they are not doing it in kind of like a cutthroat fashion. It is fair. It is equitable. Okay. And ultimately, the decision reached to go ahead is also going to be fair. Do I think he's ultimately going to end up being charged? Oh, yeah, you bet he is. Oh, look at that. How handy. So we know that the King of Pentacles represents the wannabe king. And here sits the Judgment card right behind him. So, wow, doesn't look like things are going to be great for him. Oopsie. And now we have his money, his legacy, his good name, quote unquote, are all going to start really, really being impacted. And it's not only Georgia, it is a culmination of this avalanche of information, of news, of, charges that are in the right? Like, it's just a whole lot. And he's going to find himself like struggling, like literally struggling to figure out how to pay these bills, how to keep his lawyers actually paid, even though I know he doesn't pay most of them. But it feels as if this sort of legal stuff that is starting and is going to go on, frankly, for quite a long time, into next year for sure, all through this year, into next year, is going to really, really trap his resources. And it honestly feels as if he is not going to have, by the time it's all said and done, he's going to have far, far, far fewer assets and wealth to his name than maybe, I want to say maybe that he's had for a very, very long time. So, yay, Georgia. They are moving ahead. More and more information is coming out. You've got the select committee with stuff coming out. So, oh, look what was at the bottom of the deck for him. Oopsie. This is, I think, the beginning of the snowball. Get a snowball, make a snowball, roll it down a hill, and by the time it gets to the bottom of the hill, it's a way bigger snowball with way more momentum than it certainly was at the top. So, oopsie, Tower and the Devil. Look at that. So I'm just going to actually take a look at these cards and see what the message is. And the King of Pentacles just about wanted to fly out here. I want to just see if there's another message pertaining to these two cards, because this really is what it is for him, right? It is a Tower moment. It is all of the pie in the sky fantasies that he had, that he lived with, that he believed. All of the shenanigans with, potentially forging documents, insurance papers, loan papers. All that stuff was built on a foundation that truly didn't exist. And it's coming down. And the thing is it's not just coming down for him. It's going to bring down a lot of people who were in that very tight circle. So family, and people who continue to defend him and haven't been smart enough to come clean and kind of testify where they're told to be testifying. So this is going to be a problem. Anything that he thought, any power, any emotional hold that he had over the next little while, you are going to see continuing to diminish and diminish and diminish. And the happy little fantasy that he has in his head, he's going to actually come to realize that all the tricks in the world are not going to save him. What he believed was not the truth, and that he can turn away from the law as much as he wants. He can pretend this stuff isn't happening or it doesn't apply to him, which I actually think is what he thinks. And it's actually not going to work for him. The mask is coming off. Um, what I'm seeing in my head is like that final scene at the Wizard of Oz, right? Where the curtain comes down and you've got this sad little person making using pretense to project an image that has nothing to do with actual reality. And you're looking at these cards and you're going, well, geez, they don't look too bad. Well, let me tell you, they're not good, because these cards are virtually almost being read in reverse. And some of them are being, read kind of almost at the extreme of a reverse reading. Now, don't get bent out of shape, okay? But he is going to have some wins. I don't necessarily think that this is about Georgia. I think, generally speaking, there may be some things where they just don't have enough proof or documentation, and, it's going to be lesser charges or something. Like, he's going to have a little bit of good luck on his side, but it's not going to be a lot of good luck. And the problem, again, with this person is that he doesn't know how to be quiet, and his family doesn't know how to be quiet, maybe with the exception of the daughter. I mean, Ivanka's kind of learned how to keep it closed. But, you got the other two sons, and they just like nothing better than yakking away, yakking away. And when they do that, they bring on their own ending. They just do. They bring on the ending, and the emperor is going to fall. So now let's not gloat about that, because karmically that's not good. But it is also, the other side of it is also very, very important that wrongs be acknowledged and corrected and rebalanced. So, I guess at some point in time, he has to start facing the consequences, which is something I don't believe he's ever done a whole heck of a lot of. He's going to have to start facing the consequences of the choices he has made. And, I think that that's going to be really hard for him, because God knows he doesn't really know how to do that. And honestly, like, I have to tell you, like, energetically, what I'm getting right now is it's like he's walking around almost like pulling his hair out of his head, going, I don't understand. What did I do that was so wrong? Other people inflate their numbers in real estate. Why is that a big deal? I just asked him to find me 12,000 votes, for God. Like, he doesn't get it. And I think that that's part of what sort of has been confusing us for a while, is we sort of think, well, he must understand. He has to. I'm not so sure he does. I'm just not. And so whether that is some sort of mental decline, I'm not a doctor, I'm just saying it could be part of a mental decline, or it could be simply that he was never very interested in learning about anything that had anything to do with anything that was outside his immediate circle and frame of reference, and was to his benefit and made him money, because while you're out there. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed the double videos of this week. If you're just catching this one, there were two released on Tuesday. There were two released today on Friday. So please, I encourage you to go back and check them out if there's one you missed. All right, so it's Friday. Have a really good weekend. Take some time to decompress. Perhaps, take some vitamins because I think that the next couple of months are going to be riveting. And the avalanche, it's not going to stop. It's going to keep on happening. So much information is now starting to move into like the public domain. And so there's going to be a lot of balls to juggle and a lot to take a look at and stay on top of. So take your vitamins, get some rest, spend at least some time doing something you just really, really enjoy. Stay safe, be well, and I'll see you really soon. Bye bye.